Welcome to the first episode of my video series, where we will definitely explore the fascinating role of art in video games. I specify art because art in general is really a big topic. So for today, I'm for the first and foremost episode, it's gonna be released on my YouTube channel. It's gonna be significantly just only for gaming industry. And for those who don't know me in specific, I would say I've been working in the industry for, I would say, 2 years in the whole gaming industry. And however, I'm still till right now, I'm working in this industry. It's been really an incredible journey. And of course, in here, art plays a huge part in bringing games to life. And in this series, we're going to dive into its many aspects. So for this episode, I would say it's going to be focuses on, I would say, thinking how to paint things, digital art. So I'm just going to pick it up some kind of minor heads up and just give it to you. So from what I've learned, and it's definitely going to be general information about what it's different in my videos, or specifically this series that I'm going to be opening up on my channel, is I'll just going to throw up my experience through this journey. And definitely I'm also thinking and planning to do I would say premium courses or such those kind of stuff, but definitely it's gonna be like for penny of spits from money, but it's not gonna be that much huge expensive. But for this, I would say series is just gonna be normal or typical conversation where we're just gonna through all those kind of aspects. And it's not just going to be only digital arts, photography, compositions, and how the art is really impacting the games projects. So we will of course touch the shape language, the compositions, the animation, with more exciting topics coming in the future episodes. Definitely that's what I'm intending to do. We're gonna have like a long plan, and I'm not gonna throw all the information in one episode, which is gonna be definitely boring for not just me, also for you. So I'll just gonna heads up those kind of information. I'll gonna segregate them and having like a significant topic for each episode. Switching back to the topic, of course, in here we will mainly focusing on in this first episode the importance of art in games. So when I talk about art, definitely any viewers who's gonna watch this video, they're gonna have like a different preferences and potential and another dimensions. So hit that on the description box and write down all your stuff. When someone like mention art, what does the first things that comes in your mind, just write it down, and I'm gonna happily definitely reading each one of you in the comment descriptions. So for me, when someone is saying art, or the meaning of art is, I would say mainly the first thing that comes into my mind, the visual arts. Maybe because this is how I entered the world of art back in 2016. And while definitely audio and music are crucial to I would say to gaming, so we will just only for now stuck specifically to this episode the visual for now. So definitely art is not just influence, the influences in art is undeniable, and no one can negotiate or discuss on this topic. From concepts to animations and even user interface, art impacts every moment. Whenever you see any kind of game, definitely it shows the position of that game, and the potential that puts on those kind of projects. And art is not just only impacts every element of game design, but also for now, I would say nowadays and today's, I'll break it down into three key concepts. The first concept or pillar, it's going to be the shape language that we're going to go through, and the compositions and animation. And definitely those three pillars have like prouder, I would say we can like have 1 hours just streaming myself and talking about this. And if you would like to have this kind of a discussion with me on a live, I would say, or even on a pre-recorded videos, maybe on the next, I would say, episode, we're gonna go through each pillar in a very deep dive into it. But for now, I'm just gonna give like a general things and a brief, just to have it seamlessly in your mind. And yeah, for the key concept, we said like it's gonna be shape language, the composition, etc. So for the first pillar that I wanted to talk about for today is shape language. Shape language, you don't know how much important is this, even if you're not an artist, even if you're just a normal human being, you're gonna observe that in every kind of moment that your eyes is switching to. So artists, so as we are specifying this video just only for artists, and definitely for each one of us, each of you who's just entering this and seeing me on my first time like in this channel and doesn't know anything about art is definitely welcome as well. But artists, I would say, often rely on three basic shape, which is, I would say, like circles, squares, and triangles. And definitely they're using those kind of, I would say, like we have a different kind of also definition, which is called primitives in some kind of 3D softwares, as I'm a 3D artist. But for now, we're just gonna call it like the basic shapes or the geometrical shapes, which is the circle, the squares, the triangles. Those are the three main pillars when it comes for the shape language. And the artists often use it to evoke those emotions. So when it comes for the squares, definitely squares suggest ability and security. And for that, I'm just, however, I'll gonna mention each one of them, their meaning, just to know if you don't have that idea. Maybe you observe like I would say like a shape, but then you have this kind of emotion that this is as a reciprocate, it's giving me like this security and calm emotions, but I don't know. But right now in this video, what you are gonna know is the meaning of each shape, which is for squares suggest, I would as I said, stability and security, and for the circle convey the innocence and the friendly sides and the innocence. That's what circle, maybe because it's coming as an edge, and the edge of the circle is very smooth. That's why it's conveyed the innocent sides. And for the square, it's coming with the sharp edge. That's why it's conveyed the stability, like those hard and sharp edge are conveying like very strong language, a very strong language. And for the triangle, it comes their edge very permanent, like very sharp from the top, like there is a dot, and from the dots there's two lines coming along till the end, and there's another third line that merge those both, I would say, lines. And for the triangles, definitely there's an edgy and sharp lines that convey the dangerous. And if you observe that, there's a lot of I would say symbolisms, signals, especially on the roads. They always like having the triangle shapes in a very conveying the dangerous, let's say like this roads, you cannot take that roads because it's dangerous, or it can road you to some kind of significant etc etc. So for those basic shapes, each one of them they're using in a different way. And for example, I would say that if any one of you watching animation or animated or cartoons would like to recommend this series, which is called Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm trying to write it down in here in my notes, just because I'm not that much familiarized with the Japanese or animated cartoon, but just because of those animated and cartoons with references in my academic years back then, I was like just looking at them as a reference and studying them. But I'm not that much into the animation, cartoon, or even the what is it called, the scripted cartoon, whatever they call it. This animation, it's really uses a lot of triangles. I really recommend you, while you are watching this video, just search in Google Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm gonna mention that in the description box as well. It's really coming up with a lot of triangles, heavy triangles, creating really an intense and dynamic aesthetics. Even the small details, I would say, like the shape of characters' eyes, like this character is very balanced, like that's why they shape it in triangles. And those all of the shapes can really subconsciously tell us about the rule. So that's why the primitive or the basic shape language are very useful. And even if you are just a typical human being, if you are just observing outside or anything right now in your home, let's say, I don't know, this cartoon or stuff, like it's gonna come, this is square, let's say it's coming with the very, this, by the way, this is a gift someone has given it to me, so thank you. I gotta mention the name but anyway, see this gift coming up with this shape because it's meant to be presented as it's giving like me the evoke the emotion of the stability and also the security. So even let's say if you are wanting to giving, like for example, as I give this as an example, I give to someone, you have to look at the shape. It's definitely a crucial thing, and never ever forget about this aspect. As long as you reach upon to my video and you are ready right now knowing that information, this I would say, however, the second pillar that we are going to mention in this video briefly, of course, is the composition. So in here, composition, I don't know if you know about the composition, but each time as an artist, often using composition as a typical person, you might like say, what is composition? Because this video again is intended for artists, I think you guys knowing that what the meaning of composition. So basically, composition is the arrangement of the elements that you have in your art or your sequence or your scenes to guide a focus. Like there's a message. Sometimes, like when the artist wants to create a gallery or even like some kind of art or work, and he wanted or she wanted to showcase it, the compositions help them to focus on the message and grasp all those kind of, I would say, elements that they do and combine it on a very significant message. And basically that's what does compositions do, is basically working or operating as a guidance. It's like a techniques like and one of the techniques for a composition is to contrast and emphasize emphasize and contrast the art when someone, let's say, it's presenting it in front of a really broader audience, And it really helps the players. Let's say if we are going to talk about games, or even an observer or a viewer watching this art, it's really helped them to understand the objectives and the message and navigate, I would say, the game or anything on the worlds of this art specifically and seamlessly. So that can the message reach on the mind of the viewer or the observer very seamless and smooth, and he or she can understand it very quietly and clearly as well. And this is what you need in any kind of presentation or even an art, specifically on art and game industry. All you need is a clear and straightforward and articulate your art. You don't want to do like such a disturbing art in your project or your game projects and then leave it to the audience, and then it's not just gonna be very pleasant if you have like a disturbing art and leave it to the audience. It's just gonna look very silly, and it's not gonna give the straightforwardness or the message that you intend to do it in your project. So those are one of the things that you need to keep in your mind, is articulate your message and put it on your art. And even though if you don't have that much of experience, I would say like give yourself a time and force yourself to connect and contact with other artists who has like this much of experience, and tell them if they wanted to voluntarily in your project, or even giving them having like a deal or something to support you on the projects. But definitely don't leave your project in a I would say in a way that I would say, like, in summary, just leave your project in a way that it can speak by itself. Don't leave it in a way that, I would say, on the contrary or in the opposite. You leave it in a way that it speaks, or I don't know, but it's definitely just leave it in a way that it can speak by itself. That's what I wanted just to tell you about, especially when it comes for the composition. You have to look up this stage and never skip it. And the last but not least, the third pillar, which is going to be the animation. We're just going to go through this pillar very fastly. So I would say traditionally what I've known, of course, as I started back in 2016, definitely I didn't start animation as a tradition, the way that the old animator was using the papers and drawing each keyframes. No, I definitely started with the softwares like Autodesk, 3D Max, Maya, Blender, those kind of stuff, with the more digitized, I would say, and revolutionary tools or techniques. But in general, as we are speaking right now, general information, and this is what you need to do as having like a foundational information. Never ever skip any kind of old schools techniques or stuff. Even if you, let's say, started like in 2035 as being like having the art seriously as a path, but never ever, my only advisory is don't skip the tradition ways and techniques that the old animators or even artists or even indie developers they were using. And although, like, keep in mind also knowing the techniques of your nowadays, I would say, nowadays tools. So back into the animation. So animation means like basically animators draw each frame by hand. Those what they tends the old animators doing back then. I would say back in 99 or 1970 or something, between that range, I'm not sure. Frame by hand, they're doing on papers. But right now, as the revolution technology comes in and the 3D as a a new technology come in, it's really so back in the animators draw each frame by hands, but the 3D technology right now revolutionized the process. It's really create a really impactful new era for the animations, and this is what they call it as a 3D. And for today, mostly most major bigger studio, they are choosing between 2D and 3D animation based on the resources and the artistic vision. So both styles have their charm and purpose in creating really memorable games. And I would say the conclusion for each these kind of, I would say, three pillars. I would say it's right now, I think it's 20 minutes. We passed 20 minutes, and I was like intending to make it less than that. But I really enjoy giving each one of you the whole information that I wouldn't say like I have, but as what I was intended to segregate it in each like episodes. So like, thanks for watching. The art is really truly integral in gamings, and I have really endless admirations for the artist who's behind this creation. As an also, I'm one of them. Definitely, it's created such a really pleasant emotions into my heart, and giving this and presented it in my videos on my channel is really giving me the I would say the promotion to approach I would say the artists, not all of the artists, specifically on my domain, the 3D art. And this is just the beginning, I would say. Stay tuned for more episodes in this series. We will dive even deeper, I really promise you, into the creative aspects of the video games. And definitely feel free to leave your thoughts or the feedback below on the comment description, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much.